The lecture hall was large and round like a bowl. Seats rose up in circles, one row higher than the next. Lights hung from the ceiling like small moons. The room smelled clean, like metal and recycled air. Cadets from many different worlds sat in their places, waiting for the lesson to begin. Walked in and found her usual seat near the middle. She was small compared to most aliens in the room. Her black hair was tied back in a neat tail. Her uniform was the same as everyone else, but somehow it looked different on her. Maybe because she was human. Maybe because she was one of only 3 humans in the entire Galactic Union Military Academy. She sat down and placed her tablet on the desk. The chair was too big for her body. It was made for species with longer legs or wider backs. She had gotten used to this. Everything in space was made for someone else. A Pelian male sat down next to her. His name was. His skin was pale blue and almost see-through. She could see thin lines under his skin where his blood moved. His eyes were large and dark, like pools of black water. Gills on the sides of his neck opened and closed slowly as he breathed. Was one of the few aliens who talked to regularly. He was curious about humans. He asked her questions about Earth, about human food, about why humans slept lying down instead of standing up. Did not mind. She liked having someone to talk to. "Good morning," said. His voice was soft and wet like someone speaking through water. "Good morning," replied. She smiled at him. The lights in the room dimmed slightly. A tall figure walked to the front of the hall. This was Instructor. He was an insect-like species with a hard shell covering his body. His shell was dark green, almost black. He had 4 arms and 2 long antennae on his head. When he spoke, his mandibles clicked together. "Settle down, cadets," said. His voice was sharp and clicking. "Today we study the Galactic Habitability Index. This knowledge is important for all future officers. You must understand how dangerous different planets can be." He waved one of his arms. A holographic display appeared in the air above him. It showed a long list of planets. Numbers and words floated next to each name. "The Galactic Habitability Index ranks planets by how dangerous they are to life," explained. "Class 1 planets are paradise worlds, perfect weather, no predators, gentle seasons. Many of you come from Class 1 or Class 2 worlds." Several cadets nodded. Saw a group of triplets near the back. They were small and furry with big ears. There was famous for its soft grass and warm winds. "As the number goes up, the danger goes up," continued. "Class 3 planets have mild weather problems. Class 4 planets have some predators. Class 5 planets have unstable ground or difficult air." The list on the display scrolled upward. Watched the numbers climb. Class 5, Class 6. The planets listed became stranger. Harsh places with storms that lasted years. Worlds with acid rain. Moons with constant earthquakes. "Class 7 planets are called," said. The room became very quiet. "These are worlds so dangerous that life should not exist there. Volcanic activity, toxic air, extreme temperatures. Only 3 known species have ever evolved on Class 7 worlds." Leaned toward. "Maya's Class 2, he whispered. "We thought it was harsh because we have floods in spring." Nodded but did not speak. Her hands felt cold suddenly. "Class 8, announced. "Extreme radiation, giant predators, constant natural disasters." The display showed images now. Massive creatures with teeth the size of starships, storms of fire, oceans that boiled. "Class 9, Class 10. His voice became lower. "These are dead worlds, planets where life tried to exist and failed. Extinction events, environmental collapse." Some cadets were shifting in their seats. The triplets had moved closer together. A cadet near the window had raised the protective spines along his back. Then the list stopped scrolling. At the very top was a single entry. It glowed brighter than the others. "Class 12, Earth Sol System." The room went completely silent. Could hear her own heartbeat. Antennae twitched. This meant he was uncomfortable, had learned to read his body language over the past months. Earth, the instructor said slowly, holds the highest danger rating in the known galaxy. It is the only Class 12 world that has ever produced intelligent life. It is the only Class 12 world that has produced a spacefaring species. He waved his arm again. The display changed. Now it showed a blue and green planet. White clouds swirled across its surface. It looked beautiful. It looked peaceful. Knew better. Earth has a gravity of 1 standard units, read from the data. This is considered crushing by galactic standards. Most species would struggle to walk on Earth's surface. Numbers appeared next to the planet. Statistics, danger ratings. The atmosphere contains high levels of oxygen. This gas is corrosive to most known life forms. Humans breathe it constantly. They require it to survive. More data appeared. Felt the eyes of other cadets turning toward her. She kept her own eyes on the display. Earth has an axial tilt of 23.5 degrees. This causes extreme seasonal changes across the entire planet. Temperatures can shift by 50 degrees or more between seasons. Ice forms. Ice melts. Weather patterns become violent and unpredictable. Paused, his mandibles clicked slowly. Earth has over 400,000 documented predator species. The planet experiences earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanic eruptions, hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, droughts, and wildfires. Often these events happen at the same time in different locations. The display changed again. Now it showed data about humans. The dominant species of Earth evolved as pursuit predators. They are persistent hunters. This means they chase their prey until it dies from exhaustion. They can run for hours without stopping. They can survive injuries that would kill most other species. They can metabolize poisons for recreation. They call this drinking alcohol and eating spicy food. Had stopped breathing. Noticed. His gills were completely still. His dark eyes were fixed on the display, but not on the planet. He was looking at the class roster that had appeared in the corner. Her name was there. Cadet Origin Earth, Class 12. Turned to look at her. His face was pale. His gills still did not move. "You," he whispered, his voice shook. "You are from there." Did not know what to say. Around them, other cadets were having the same realization, the same terrible understanding. The human girls sitting in their class, eating in their cafeteria, walking through their hallways, came from the most dangerous planet in the known galaxy. The triplets had pressed themselves against the far wall. The cadets' spines were fully raised. Even instructor had taken a small step backward. Sat very still. She felt very alone. "It's not that bad," she said quietly. "Really, Earth is actually quite nice." No one believed her. Instructor stood very still at the front of the room. His antennae moved slowly from side to side. This meant he was thinking carefully about what to say next. The holographic display still glowed above him, showing Earth and all its terrible numbers. "Let us continue," said. His voice was quieter now. "It is important that you understand the full picture." He waved his arm. The display expanded. More information filled the air. Charts and graphs and pictures floated around the image of Earth like leaves around a tree. Watched her being taken apart piece by piece. Every danger was listed. Every threat was counted. Earth was shown as a monster and she was its child. Earth's star, called Sol, produces high levels of ultraviolet radiation, explained. Humans have evolved pigments in their skin to survive this. They can change color based on sun exposure. They call this getting a tan. A picture appeared showing human skin in different shades. Looked at her own hands. Her skin was light brown. She had never thought of it as armor against radiation. Earth has one large moon. This moon creates powerful tidal forces in Earth's oceans. The water rises and falls twice every day. Humans build their homes near these violent waters. They swim in them for fun. Made a small sound next to her. His gills had started working again, but they moved too fast. He was breathing too hard. His body was trying to deal with fear. The planet has a liquid iron core, continued. This creates a magnetic field that protects the surface from solar radiation. However, this also means that Earth has constant geological activity. The ground moves, mountains rise, valleys sink. Humans have built cities on fault lines where earthquakes happen regularly. The display showed a map of Earth with red lines crossing it. These were the fault lines. Cities sat on many of them. Tokyo, Los Angeles, Istanbul, millions of humans living on breaking ground. Now, said, let us discuss Earth's life forms. Pictures began to appear, animals of every kind. Recognized many of them, dogs, cats, birds, fish. They looked normal to her. They looked like home. But the cadets around her did not see normal animals. They saw monsters. This is called a bear, said. A picture of a grizzly bear appeared. It stood on its back legs with its mouth open. Its teeth were long and sharp. It weighs approximately 300 kilograms. It can run at speeds of 56 kilometers per hour. It can kill most creatures with a single blow of its paw. The room was very quiet. Humans share territory with bears. They camp in forests where bears live. Sometimes they keep bears in places called zoos and bring their children to look at them. Heard someone gasp. She thought it might have been one of the triplets. This is called a shark. A great white shark filled the display. Its black eyes stared at nothing. Its mouth was full of triangular teeth arranged in rows. It has been killing other species for 400 million years. Its design is so perfect that it has barely evolved in that time. Humans swim in water where sharks hunt. They call this going to the beach. Continued through the list. Crocodiles that could bite through bone. Snakes with poison that stopped hearts. Spiders that lived in houses. Insects that drank blood and spread disease. Earth also has microscopic life forms that are extremely dangerous, said. Bacteria, viruses, parasites. These tiny creatures have killed more humans than all other causes combined. Yet humans carry trillions of bacteria inside their own bodies. They have formed partnerships with organisms that would destroy other species. Turned to look at again. His eyes were wide. His mouth hung slightly open. You have bacteria inside you right now. Yes, said. They help me digest food. Made a strange choking sound. He looked like he might be sick. Perhaps the most remarkable thing about humans, said, is their relationship with danger. They do not avoid it. They seek it out. The display changed to show humans doing various activities. Climbing mountains, jumping from airplanes, racing cars at high speeds, fighting each other in boxing rings. Humans engage in recreational activities that have high chances of death or injury. They call this extreme sports or adventure. They find pleasure in fear. They find joy in surviving danger. Felt her cheeks grow warm. When she was young, she had gone hiking with her father in the mountains. She had loved it, the hard climb, the thin air, the beautiful view from the top. She had never thought of it as crazy. Humans can also survive extreme damage to their bodies, continued. They can lose limbs and continue living. They can receive organs from other humans and survive. They can heal from wounds that would kill any other known species. Their bodies fight disease with fever, literally cooking the infection inside them. A cadet somewhere behind made a frightened sound. She did not turn to look. They can function without sleep for days. They can survive without food for weeks. They can survive without water for days. They can maintain body temperature in environments that range from -40 to +50 degrees. Paused, his antennae pointed directly at. Every eye in the room followed. There are 3 humans currently enrolled in this academy, the instructor said. They represent a species that should not exist, a species that evolved on a world designed to kill everything on it. They did not just survive, They became the dominant species of their planet. They tamed predators. They built cities. They created art and music and science. And now they walk among the stars. The room was completely silent. No one moved, no one breathed. Sat in her chair and felt the weight of every stare. She felt the fear coming from the cadets around her. She had never thought of herself as scary. She liked sweet rice cakes and old movies. She missed her mother's cooking. She got homesick sometimes. But to everyone else in this room, she was a monster. His hand touched her arm very lightly. His fingers were cold and slightly damp. She could feel them trembling. "I did not know," he said quietly. "All this time I sat next to you. I talked to you. I thought you were just small and soft and friendly." "I am friendly," said. "You are terrifying," replied, but his hand did not move away. "How do you survive on that planet? How does anyone survive?" Thought about the question. She thought about Korea, about the mountains and the sea, about the hot summers and the cold winters, about the food and the cities and the people, about her family. "We survive because we have to," she said finally, "and because we help each other, and because even when everything is dangerous, there is still beauty, there is still love, there is still a reason to keep going." Stared at her for a long moment. His gills slowed down. His breathing became more normal. "I do not understand humans," he said. "That's okay," replied. "Sometimes we don't understand ourselves." The lecture ended, but the silence followed out of the room. It would follow her for a long time. The days after the lecture were hard for her. She walked through the academy halls like she always did. She wore the same uniform. She carried the same tablet. She went to the same classes, but everything had changed. The other cadets looked at her differently now. Before, she had been a curiosity, a strange small creature from a planet they had never heard of. Some had found her cute, some had ignored her, but no one had been afraid. Now they were afraid. Noticed it first in the cafeteria. She took her tray of food and looked for a place to sit. The tables around her were full of cadets eating and talking. But when she walked toward an empty seat, the conversation stopped. Cadets moved away. Some picked up their trays and left entirely. She sat alone at a table meant for 8. The food tasted like nothing in her mouth. She ate because she needed to eat, not because she wanted to. She thought about her mother's cooking back on Earth. Hot soup with vegetables and rice. The smell of garlic and sesame oil. The warmth of family around the table. Here there was only cold silence. After lunch, she went to her engineering class. The instructor was a named professor. He had always been fair too. He had praised her work on Starship power systems. He had said she had a good mind for machines. Today, he did not look at her directly. His protective spine stayed raised during the entire class. When asked a question, he answered quickly and moved on. She was becoming a ghost, present but not seen, seen but not touched. That evening sat in the academy gardens. This was her favorite place. The gardens were filled with plants from many different worlds, blue flowers from, red vines from, silver trees from Prime. The air smelled like 100 different perfumes mixed together. She sat on a bench and watched the stars appear through the dome above. The station orbited a small yellow sun, not her sun, not Sol, but yellow suns always made her think of home. Footsteps approached. She did not turn to look. She expected whoever it was to walk past, avoiding her like everyone else. Instead, someone sat down on the far end of her bench. It was. He kept a careful distance between them, about 2 meters. His gills moved slowly. His hands rested on his knees. He looked nervous, but he was there. "Hello," he said. "Hello." They sat in silence for a moment. The stars continued to appear, one by one, like eyes opening in the dark. "I have been thinking," said finally, "about what I learned in class about Earth, about humans." And asked, "I am trying to understand." He paused. You seem so normal, so gentle. I have watched you for months. You say please and thank you. You help other cadets with their studies. You laugh at jokes. You miss your home." "I do miss home," agreed. "But you are from the most dangerous planet in the galaxy. Your species hunts by running after prey until it falls down dead. You can eat poison for fun. You have bacteria living inside your body like tiny soldiers." Almost smiled. "When you say it like that, it does sound strange. How are you so calm about all of this?" She thought about the question. It was a good question. She had been thinking about it herself since the lecture. "Because for humans, it is just life," she said. "We do not think about gravity being heavy because we have always felt it. We do not think about seasons changing because they have always changed. We do not think about predators because we have always lived with them. You have predators in your cities. We have pets," smiled a little. "Dogs are descended from wolves. Wolves are pack hunters. They work together to bring down large prey. But thousands of years ago, humans and wolves became friends. Now dogs live in our homes. They sleep in our beds. We love them and they love us." Stared at her. "You tamed wolves." "We tamed many things. Horses, cats, even some birds." "But why? Why would predators agree to live with you?" Shrugged. "I think they saw something in us. Maybe they saw that we could help each other. Humans gave wolves food and warmth. Wolves helped humans hunt and protected them from danger. It was a partnership." Was quiet for a long time. His gills moved slowly as he thought. "On my world," he said eventually, "we have very few predators. Our biggest dangerous animal is called a river snake. It is about 1 meter long. It is not poisonous. It mostly eats small fish." "That sounds nice," said. "It is nice, it is peaceful, but I am beginning to see that perhaps it made us weak." He looked at her directly now. "Pelions are afraid of many things. Loud sounds, dark places, sudden movements. We panic easily. Our bodies shut down when we feel too much fear. That is why you stopped breathing in class." "Yes." His gills fluttered with embarrassment. "When I saw those numbers about Earth, when I understood what you really were, my body simply stopped. It could not handle the fear." "I am sorry I scared you." "You did not scare me," said. "The information scared me. The numbers scared me. But you, sitting next to me, talking to me, being kind to me, that did not scare me. That is what I am trying to understand." Turned to look at him, the stars reflected in his dark eyes. He looked small and fragile, like a creature made of glass. But he was sitting here with her when everyone else had run away. That took courage. "Maybe," she said slowly, "the numbers do not tell the whole story. Earth is dangerous, yes, but it is also beautiful. Humans are strong, yes, but we are also kind. We build hospitals to heal the sick. We make art to share with each other. We write songs about love and loss and hope." "Why?" asked. "Why be kind when you could simply be strong? Your species could conquer the galaxy if you wanted to." "Because strength without kindness is just cruelty. We learned that lesson many times in our history. Wars that killed millions. Weapons that could destroy cities in a single moment. We saw what we could become if we let strength rule us. And we chose to be better." Moved slightly closer on the bench. Now there was only 1 meter between them. "I want to keep being your friend," he said. "Even knowing what I know, even though you scare me a little, is that okay?" Felt warmth spread through her chest. The loneliness of the day began to fade. "That is very okay," she said. "That is wonderful." They sat together in the garden as the station continued its orbit. Two creatures from very different worlds trying to understand each other. It was not easy. It might never be easy. But it was a beginning. The combat exercise was required for all first-year cadets. Everyone had to participate. There were no exceptions. Stood in the briefing room with 40 other cadets. They wore combat suits instead of normal uniforms. The suits were, and padded, designed to protect against simulated weapons. Each cadet had a helmet under their arm. Commander stood at the front of the room. He was a massive, standing nearly 3 meters tall. His skin was thick and like stone. His voice was deep and rumbling. "Today's exercise is simple," he said. "2 teams, 1 station. Capture the objective. Red team will start in the east docking bay. Blue team will start in the west. The objective is in the central control room." A holographic map appeared, showing a large space station. It had many hallways and rooms. The control room was in the middle, marked with a glowing circle. "Teams have been assigned randomly by computer. Check your tablets for your assignment." Looked at her tablet. Blue team. She was on blue team. She scanned the list of her teammates. Was on blue team too. She felt relief at seeing his name. There were also 2 cadets, and 8 team members total. The other cadets on her team looked nervous. When they saw her name on the list, their nervousness grew. She was not sure if they were happy to have on their side or worried about being near her. "You have 30 minutes to complete the objective," Commander continued. "Simulated weapons only. If you are hit, your suit will lock and you are out of the exercise. Any questions?" No one had questions. "Good, move to your starting positions." Blue team gathered in the west docking bay. The station was cold and dark. Emergency lighting cast everything in dim red. The floor was metal grating. Their footsteps echoed in the empty space. Looked at her teammates. They stood in a loose group, not too close together, not too far apart. No one had taken charge yet. "We should make a plan," she said. Everyone looked at her. The cadet whose name was Brea shifted his massive weight. The cadets' spines rose slightly. "What do you suggest?" asked. His voice was calm. He trusted her. Pulled up the station map on her tablet. "The central control room has 4 entrances. If we split into 2 groups, we can approach from different directions. That way, if one group meets resistance, the other can continue." "That makes sense," said one of the cadets. Her name was. Her fur was soft brown and her ears twitched as she spoke. "I can take Group 1 through the maintenance tunnels," continued. "They are smaller, so the larger species might have trouble. Group 2 can take the main corridor." Brea nodded slowly. "I will lead Group 2. The main corridor is wide enough for me." They divided the team. Took and the cadet named. Brea took the others. "Move fast, stay quiet," said. "Good luck." The teams separated. Led her group into the maintenance tunnels. The passages were narrow and dark. Cables and pipes lined the walls. The air smelled like old metal and recycled oxygen. They moved in single file. Went first. Her eyes adjusted to the darkness quickly. Humans had good night vision compared to some species. Not as good as but better than Pelians. They had traveled maybe 200 meters when everything went wrong. The station shook violently, the lights flickered, then gravity failed. Felt her body lift off the floor. Her stomach flipped as up and down lost all meaning. The red emergency lights made everything look like a wound. Behind her she heard scream. The cadet was spinning in the air, her small arms and legs waving uselessly. Was better, but not by much. His hard shell scraped against the walls as he tumbled. Had frozen completely. His body floated in the middle of the tunnel, arms and legs stiff, gills completely still. The sudden change had triggered his fear response. He was not breathing. Did not think she acted. She reached out and grabbed a pipe on the wall. Her fingers locked around it. She pulled herself toward the wall and braced her feet against the metal. From this stable position, she could see everything. First, she reached for. There was drifting toward a sharp corner. Pushed off the wall, caught around the middle, and guided her to a safe grip on a cable rack. "Hold on tight," said. "Do not let go." His big eyes were wide with terror, but she held on. Next there was doing better now, using his multiple arms to grab at surfaces. Helped him find a stable position near. Then, pushed off the wall and floated toward her friend. He was still frozen, still not breathing. His eyes stared at nothing. His body was shutting down. She grabbed his arm and pulled him close. His skin was cold and damp. She said firmly, "Look at me." His eyes slowly focused on her face. "You need to breathe. Can you do that? Just breathe." His gills twitched, then they moved, one slow breath, then another. "Good," said. "You are okay. This is just a gravity failure. It happens sometimes. It is not dangerous if we stay calm." She pulled him to the wall and helped him grip a pipe. His hands were shaking, but he held on. "What happened?" asked. His voice clicked with fear. "Probably a simulation glitch," said. "The gravity generators might have failed. We need to keep moving. Can everyone move in zero gravity?" Silence. None of them had trained much in zero gravity. Pelions came from a water world, came from a low-gravity world. They were not prepared for this. But humans had been training in zero gravity for over 100 years. Since the old days of the space program, every human child watched videos of astronauts floating in stations. Many dreamed of experiencing it themselves. Had taken zero-gravity training before coming to the academy. Her father had insisted. "You never know when you will need it," he had said. He was right. "Follow me," said. "Move slowly, push off gently. Grab the walls as you go. I will help anyone who gets stuck." She led them through the tunnels. It was slow work, kept spinning. His hard shell made him clumsy, was still recovering from his panic, but was patient. She helped each of them. She stayed calm. Sparks flew from a damaged panel ahead. In normal gravity, they would have fallen to the floor. In zero gravity, they floated like tiny stars, beautiful but dangerous. Did not flinch. She had seen worse. Kitchen fires, electrical storms. That one time the power went out during a winter storm and her family had to live by candlelight for 3 days. This was nothing. They reached the central control room at the same time as Group 2. Brea and his team had also struggled with the gravity failure, but they had made it. The red team was nowhere to be seen. Floated to the control panel and pressed the objective button. "Blue team wins," announced the station computer. "Exercise complete. Time 18 minutes." The gravity came back on suddenly. Everyone fell to the floor, yelped, clattered, groaned. Landed on her feet. Commander's voice came through the speakers. "Blue team returned to briefing room." That was impressive. Later, after the exercise was reviewed, learned that she had set an academy record, 18 minutes. The previous record was 31. But what people talked about most was not the time. It was how she had moved during the gravity failure, how she had saved her teammates, how she had smiled when the sparks flew past her face. "You were not scared," said to her that evening, "not even a little bit." Thought about it. "I was a little worried about those sparks near the power coupling. But that is all, just a little worry." She shrugged. Everything going wrong at once, darkness, no gravity, danger everywhere. She smiled slightly. It felt like home, it felt like Tuesday. Stared at her for a long moment. Then he did something he had never done before. He laughed. It was a wet, bubbling sound. Not like human laughter at all, but it was real, and it was warm. "Humans are insane," he said. "Probably," agreed, "but we get the job done." The end of the first year came with a ceremony. The great hall of the academy was decorated with banners from 100 different worlds. Lights hung from the ceiling like captured stars. Music played softly, a strange mix of sounds that tried to please every species at once. Cadets stood in neat rows, wearing their best uniforms. Parents and family members filled the viewing galleries above. Holographic screens showed the ceremony to those who could not attend in person. Stood in the third row from the front. Her hair was neatly arranged. Her uniform was pressed and perfect. She looked like any other cadet about to complete their first year. But she was not like any other cadet. Everyone knew that now. The story of the combat exercise had spread through the academy like fire. The human girl who moved through chaos like she was born in it. The who saved her teammates while smiling. The creature from Class 12 Earth who set a new record without even trying. Some cadets were still afraid of her, but more were curious now. A few were even impressed. The Academy commander, an ancient Pelion named High Admiral, walked to the speaking platform. His scales had turned silver with age. His voice was thin but strong. "Today we celebrate completion," he said. "The first year is always the hardest. You have learned about the galaxy. You have learned about yourselves. You have taken the first steps toward becoming officers of the Galactic Union." He spoke about duty and honor and service. Standard ceremony words. Listened politely, but her mind wandered. She thought about the past year, the fear in other cadets' eyes, the loneliness of empty tables, the slow building of trust with those brave enough to know her. She thought about her friend, her first real friend in space. She thought about home, about Korea, about her parents watching this ceremony through a screen millions of kilometers away, about how proud they would be. The ceremony continued. Awards were given. Names were called. Cadets walked forward to receive pins and certificates. Then it was over, the formal part at least. Now came the celebration. Found herself near the refreshment tables. The food was a strange collection from many worlds. She chose something that looked like fruit and hoped for the best. She turned, stood behind her. His blue skin had shifted to warmer tones, almost purple. This was a sign of strong emotion among Pelions. She had learned that over the past months. She said, "You look different, good different." "I feel different." He moved to stand beside her. "I have been doing research about your world, about humans." "More research," she smiled. "I thought you learned everything in that first lecture." "The lecture taught me facts, numbers, statistics." He shook his head, his gills fluttering. "But facts do not explain everything. I wanted to understand something deeper." "What did you find?" Was quiet for a moment. When he spoke again, his voice was soft. "I found a concept from your homeland, from Korea. It is called Han." Blinked, she had not expected this. "You learned about Han." "I tried to learn. It is difficult to translate. The closest I could find was a kind of sorrow that does not destroy you, a sadness that you carry with you and transform into strength, a pain that becomes part of who you are." Felt her throat tighten. Han was something her grandmother had talked about, something deep in Korean culture, in Korean history, the sorrow of occupation, the pain of war, the sadness that came from suffering but also the strength that grew from surviving it. "Your people have felt great pain," continued. "Your country was divided. Your ancestors faced terrible hardships, but you did not let the pain destroy you. You turned it into something beautiful, into art and music and determination." "How do you know all this?" "I read everything I could find. Human history is full of suffering, war after war, disaster after disaster. You have hurt each other in terrible ways. You have faced extinction more than once." He paused. "But you always survive, you always rebuild, you always find hope." Did not know what to say. Her eyes felt warm, she blinked quickly. "I was trying to understand something," said. "Not what makes humans dangerous. I understood that from the lecture. I wanted to understand what makes you kind." "And did you find an answer?" "I think so." Reached out and took her hand. His fingers were cool and slightly damp, but his grip was firm. "Your species evolved on a world that tried to kill you every single day. You faced predators and disasters and diseases that should have ended you. You should have become monsters, creatures that trust nothing and care for no one, pure survival machines. But you did not. You became the opposite. You make friends with wolves. You build homes in dangerous places because you find them beautiful. You run toward disasters to save strangers. You love things that can hurt you." Gills moved slowly. His dark eyes were very bright. "I stopped breathing in that class because I was afraid. I looked at you and saw the numbers, the statistics, the danger. I saw a predator from an impossible world. And now, asked quietly, now I see something different. You are not the monster Earth made. You are the hope that survived it. Your kindness is not weakness. It is the greatest strength of all. It is choosing to be gentle when you could be cruel, choosing to help when you could harm, choosing to love when you could hate. Felt tears on her cheeks. She had not even noticed them falling. Thank you, she said. That is the most beautiful thing anyone has ever said to me. Squeezed her hand gently, a human gesture he had learned just for her. Around them, the celebration continued. Cadets laughed and talked and celebrated their success. Parents beamed with pride. Instructors nodded with satisfaction. But in that moment, there was only end. Two creatures from very different worlds who had found understanding. Will you teach me more about Han? Asked, and about Korea and about Earth. If you want to learn. I do. I want to understand everything about you, about your people, about what makes humans so strange and wonderful and terrifying and kind all at the same time. Smiled, a real smile, the first one in a long time that did not feel forced. It will take a while, she said. We have time. They stood together as the stars turned outside the great windows. Somewhere far away, Earth orbited its yellow sun. Its mountains rose and fell. Its oceans churned. Its storms raged and its seasons changed. 1 million species competed to survive on its dangerous surface. And from that impossible world, humans had reached the stars. They had brought with them all their strength and all their kindness, all their violence and all their love, all their terror and all their hope. The galaxy was still learning what that meant. Some species would always be afraid. Some would never understand. But some would look past the numbers and see the truth. Humans were not just survivors they were proof that life could find beauty in any darkness, that love could grow in any soil, that hope could survive any storm. And that was the most human thing of all. The ceremony ended. A new year would begin soon. There would be more challenges, more lessons, more chances to prove themselves. But tonight there was only this. Two friends standing together, looking at the stars, dreaming of tomorrow. It was enough. It was everything.